Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking updates. I have several things that I have tried out recently that I want to update you guys on, as well as my project pan. Granted, it's only been, it's almost 2 months. We're almost 2 months into it, so I just thought that I would update you guys on my progress, but I will put that at the end. All right, let's jump into some things that I have recently tried out, starting with the newly formulated Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation. I've tried this out a few different ways. I apologize, my voice might be going in and out. I'm sorry in advance, but I've tried this obviously by itself. I did an all-day wear test for you guys. The good news is it's fragrance-free. It does not break me out. I haven't had any issues with that. Out of all the ways that I have tried it, I have mixed it in with the Auric, the Glow Lust, which I'm absolutely obsessed with. And this, it kind of got a little too dewy for me and a little too heavy. I don't know what it was about the mixture, but it didn't go well for me at all. It kind of slid off of my face pretty quickly. And then I tried it with this. This is my favorite way to use it. With my Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue, this combination is really good. If you do half of this and then half of this, it's like that perfect middle ground, and it has this really nice finish to it. The longevity is still there and it looks so beautiful. I still like this foundation in of itself. It's just a little heavier than what I like on myself. Even though I'm wearing right now, I'm wearing the Tarte Face Tape foundation, but the way it lays on my skin is just a little less heavy than what this is. But I still think that this is a really pretty foundation. But this combination right here is really, really nice. Speaking of Auric, this is so pretty. I am absolutely obsessed with this. I have it in Selenite, which is the one that I have on right now. This is my glow, and I also have just a tiny bit mixed in with my foundation, and then I also have Morganite. Morganite is a bit bright for me. I can mix these two, and it's just like a little bit more intense than what I have on right now, so I like that combo, but I do like this best as a highlight. Now, this is going to be my favorites. Just spoiler alert, this is definitely going to be my favorites, but I want to mention more so how I have used it and what has and has not worked for me. So the Glow Lust has worked the best as a highlight. Put it on top of my powder finished face and press it in with a sponge, and just, it gives me the best glow. It's one of the least textured highlights that I have ever worn. Now, I have tried this on top of unset makeup. It slid around a little bit and I could like touch it and it would come off. I think having a base underneath it, if you're going to wear it as a highlight, is much better for longevity. And then I do like it mixed in with foundations, not so much the Huda Beauty one. If it's a thicker foundation, that one is like a satin, but it still has a little bit of a glow to it. I find that if I mix it in with something like that, it's just like a little too much, it's a little too heavy on my skin. The Face Tape, though, it's a matte but thinner foundation, and then adding a half a pump, If I put in a full pump, no, it's a little too much glow for me. But this just adds a little bit of radiance without it being overboard, because I really like to mattify my skin where I want there to be less texture and then highlight where I want to have the glow. When I try this by itself underneath foundation, it's not my favorite, not on my skin type. I am combo, and I kind of had the same thing happen with the Hollywood Flawless Filter. When I use this underneath it, just like the Flawless Filter, my makeup doesn't last as well. I'm not sure what it is. It could be just my skin type. It could be this plus all my skincare, plus, you know, just everything that you put on your face. So for me, this is not something that I'm going to be wearing as a primer or an illuminating anything underneath. I like it the best, and I'm going to use it the most often as my highlight, and then sometimes mixing it in with a foundation if I want to. A foundation that I am not putting on my face again. I feel bad because I answered people in the comment section of this video. This is the Marc Jacobs Extra Shot. It's a foundation concealer in one. And I responded back saying that this broke me out, but it was like 3 spots. And it was. Initially, it was like 1, 2, and then 3. The next morning, I had so much, like, underneath my skin kind of bumps, and then it was so weird. I had a pimple right here and right here on both eyes. I was like, what? I've never had that happen in the exact same spot. And I used this as my foundation and concealer, and no, I broke out everywhere. It was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And now, I know a lot of people couldn't tell that this looked dry on camera. This is the thing. A lot of the times when you wear something that is more matte, it is a lot more forgiving on camera. And then I felt bad because I was testing out the LYS foundation, and I had a lot more texture on my skin than I normally do. And anything that is nice and luminous like that is gonna, especially with the lights and everything, it will just reflect back. So matte will absorb the light, and then anything that has the highlighting or the shiny effect, it is going to reflect it back. And if you have any texture, it is going to make it worse. So this right here, some people said they could see it, some people said they could not, but my cheeks were so dry. So dry. And this is really weird. So I don't like to watch videos of people's reviews of foundations or anything before I do my own, or before I've at least used the product, because I don't want to have my thoughts altered. Well, after I did my review, I started watching other people's, and it seems like I thought maybe the people with oily skin would like this, but I've seen it both ways, where people with oily skin are getting extremely oily with it, and then people with dry skin, it's drying them out. So I don't know, but some people really enjoy it. I don't. I didn't really care for the way it looked. I did think it looked pretty good underneath my eyes, but the rest of my face, it was far too dry, and then it was definitely not worth the reaction. Oh, my face is so sensitive. I hate that. I want to mention I don't have an update for the foundation quite yet, because I just tried it out. I've only tried it one more time, and I know that I told somebody that it would be in my updates, and I didn't realize I was going to be doing an update so quickly. So the LYS foundation, I will update you guys in my next updates, because I want to truly test that out just a little bit more before I give an update on that. And my new powder will be here on Wednesday, because it was yellow. It was so, I thought it looked yellow in person, then on camera it was like, whoo, you really yellow. Now, 2 products that I have not shown on camera. I think I'm going to do this more often, because there's some times where I just cannot get to an actual review on camera. I don't have the time to do, 2 looks and then a review and then another video. I'm getting overwhelmed. There's so much stuff coming out. And sometimes I just buy things for me. This was the case with these. I bought these for me. I love Tom Ford. I thought maybe I would do a review, but I didn't get around to it. I have already worn Desert Fox in a video, but that video is not out yet. And I mean, Puffin even liked the eye look, but I have to tell you, this is not worth the money. It is not worth the money. I really love, like, I could just take 2 shades, like these 2, and I would just love the eye look. It would be gorgeous. I put this all over and then deepen it up with this one, and I would love it. The mattes perform not as good as Coco Mirage, better than Sulasab, or Sulasay, I think it's Sulasab. But these 2 shades right here, there is a like, they're not exactly the same, but on the eye, because they do blend out to be a little less pigmented, they have pigmentation. It's like, I don't know. It's not worth almost $90. This is an $88 palette from Tom Ford, and there's nothing special about it. Really, this shade needed to be much darker so that you could have a little bit more of a variant in there. And that's kind of the same thing I ran into with the one that I'm wearing right now, but I like this one. This one's just okay, but not for the price tag. So this is not something that I would suggest. I think it's an okay palette. I would want this shade to be much darker, and this is a shimmer that is like the middle ground. So it's not too metallic, and it's not nothing either, like the Del Creme. That one I found faded on me a lot as well. This one, it faded a tiny bit, but nothing major. Overall, this wore well. It could be so much better. This one I actually like, but you're gonna have to make it work. If you wanna get this, I have more than just this palette on, just know that. This right here is the Insolent Rose. I might have butchered that. I apologize if I did. It's beautiful. What I found with this topper shade, I always want to call them celestials. This topper shade right here, it's not as hard pressed in there. I used a brush. Hope you guys can see that. It is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. So my initial impression, that's the very first shade I put on. I primed my eyes and I went straight in with this on the inner corner, and I was like, yes. And I picked it up with a brush. It was coming up much easier than something like, arabesque. So this was really nice. And then I used this matte. Oh, I love this matte, and the color is so pretty. I don't know if you can even really see that, but the color is gorgeous. So I was thinking, okay, this one's going to be so much better. And I do think it's better than the Desert Fox, but this shade, I had to build this one up quite a bit. Initially, I think that the top layer of this was, you had to get that off. This top layer, I was getting a little patchy, so I had put this color all on the outer corner, this one all on the front portion, then I wanted to add some depth with this shade. Well, no, it was going into my crease, but then it was doing that patchy thing right on the outer corner. It did not want to adhere. So I had to build and build and build, and once I got that top layer off, it was a little bit better. But what I would tell you is, if you wanted to create this eye look, I would say put this on your inner corner, straight onto the eye primer, go in with this shade, straight onto your eye primer, and then blend out with this shade, because otherwise you're going to be trying and struggling with this shade. And then this one is just, one of those typical light, white, slight sheen type of shades. So it's a pretty palette. It kind of reminds me of the Divine Rose collection, just a little bit softer, and that's like the Tom Ford take on it. I like this palette. I will use this palette, but just be warned that this is a little bit of an iffy shade. I really like this topper, and I love this, and this is just kind of like, it's just a typical thing. So this is the iffy shade in this palette. I still would not say that this is an $88 palette, but I do like it. I don't love it, but I do like it. And then I have on my eyes several other things, but I have my Project Pan stuff on my eyes, so we'll talk about that, because I couldn't add the depth. I couldn't add the depth on my lash line. I couldn't add that shine on the inner corner or my brow arch, and I think that's what really made everything pop. So if you're seeing that, know that it's not the palette. Next up, a few lip products. I gotta take something back. These Pat McGrath liquid lips. I am pleasantly surprised. I mentioned in the video, I was like, I don't think that I would wear these longer than 2 hours. And then by the end of the video, I was like, I don't know, I feel like I probably could. And then I got this out. This is the Linda Hallberg Ultimate Lips Lip Primer. I love it. Like, it's still a drier formula. It's not giving me the crack, and my lips are dry right now. My lips are so dry. I have that just like one layer on, and then I put this on. Which one do I have? It is Divine Rose. And it's smooth. I like that it's smooth. I don't get the butthole lips or anything like that. And this is not like this. I've tried this a few times, and I am pleasantly surprised. If she were to come out with more of these, I'm not a liquid lipstick lover, but I would buy them. I would buy these again. Can't believe I'm saying that, but I would. They're not as comfortable as, say, Lunar Beauty, but for a transfer-proof liquid lip, these are pretty good. These are pretty good. And then from Charlotte Tilbury, these were sent to me. I have not tried out all of the colors, but I want to specifically talk about Happy Peach. These are the, oh my goodness, it's the Hyaluronic HAPPIKISS Lipstick Balm. So I'm in a love-hate relationship with these, or specifically this color, because this is the one that I keep gravitating towards. Okay, so I understand why you have to have, like, it's one of those click up formulas. Let me show you the color. There's so much pigmentation. It's so pretty and it is so comfortable. My problem is that because you've got that hard edge around it, when you go to, if like, you have to be really careful. I have found it to be easier to take a lip brush, like put it on and then take a lip brush to go right around the edges. So I wish that it could have been maybe a little bit more solid so that you could click it up and put it on without the edge, because I find it like I'll get a little bit too much in some areas and then it wants to move outside the line. If you get it on correctly, it's really, really beautiful and it doesn't move around too much. But if you get too much on, or can you see like the messiness that's around the plastic of the actual component? It can get, you know, it can get a little funky. But formula wise and color wise, I love it. I love it. So I will deal with it. But I just want to let you guys know that after I've continued to use it, that it is a little bit of a pain in the butt. It's a little bit of a pain. Now let's talk about the BECCA Light Shifter Finishing Veil, and I have Star Child number 2. This is a weird powder for me. So I used it in my Get Ready With Me with the Marc Jacobs stuff, and it just made everything look more dry. Basically, I can only use this powder on a good day. It has just a little bit of a tint to it, and it's pretty, and it doesn't add a lot of texture or anything. It's just strange. If I were to add it on right now, I have a feeling that it would look dry. It's going back and forth, so I'm a little confused by it. If I use it as like a initial setting powder where I'm not trying to like super set my foundation, like with the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydro Rescue, say I take this and then I just kind of lightly put it on, it's pretty. If I try to buff with it after I've used a different powder to set on my face, it gets a little dry looking. So it's a finicky powder. I don't know, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's like it can be pretty. I think that if you want to use this to set, then it's a pretty powder, but if you want to use it to do like the finishing veil, then you might have the problems like I do with it looking a little bit more dry, which is to me how it is marketed, with it saying finishing veil. But I mean, that's just wording. You could be finishing off your foundation with it as well. So, I don't know. I wanted it as a buffing powder, and I think it works better for me as a light setting powder that has just a little bit of a glow to it. But if you're somebody who likes to really lock in your makeup, I wouldn't suggest this. Only for somebody that wants something to have a light setting powder with a nice reflection to it. Okay, let's talk about this Anastasia Brow Freeze. I can't, you guys, I can't. And some of you have validated my thoughts in the comment section, so I appreciate it because I thought I was losing my marbles. I have, and again, my brow hairs are coming back. So my brow hairs are pretty long, and I've gone back and forth. Like, do I want them thin? Do I want them thick? I don't know. We're in between right now, but they're pretty long. And I can't get them to actually stay up with this product. I go up, I go down, I go through them just like I do with my Benefit Brow Gel. And then when I do that, I get like this white film. It's not excessive, but I can see it and it irks my nerves. And then if I just go in with it and plaster it to my face, I don't like the way it feels. It feels like it's laminated to my face, but then they still end up falling down. I guess it just must be my brow hair type maybe, or the length, it's something. This is just too much effort for me. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it's terrible. If you want to tame your brow hairs, you want the feathery look, but you don't care if they stay up, or maybe your brow hairs just naturally stay up anyway, you might like this, but it's not something that I enjoy. I'm sticking with my Benefit 24-hour brow setter. All right, now I quickly want to show you guys my project pan and see how we're doing. First, this powder, we're just not going to be able to see, not for a while. Let's see. This powder is going to take me forever to get through. I don't know if I'll be able to get through it through the year, but let me get it completely like set. So I want to say maybe I'm not quite halfway. I will be excited when I get like fully to the halfway mark, but I'm only using this to brighten up underneath my eyes, do a little on my chin, on my forehead if I can see it. This is the Fenty lavender powder. I am almost done with this. This is the Pillow Talk Push-Up Lashes from Charlotte Tilbury. Like, you hear that? There's almost nothing in there. So I probably have maybe another week's, maybe possibly 2 weeks worth of uses, and then I will be done with this. And then I'll probably just go ahead and add another mascara in for my project pan so we can see how many I can go through. This, I really like this. I'm kind of like, I really, really like this. I think it's, I don't know if it's limited edition. I hope it's not, but this little beauty right here. It is the Guerlain Terracotta Matte Sculpting Powder in the shade Light. I like the way it smells. It's pretty strong, but can you guys see? I am starting, like it has little circles in it anyway, but I have actually gone through this. This is a little bit of a thicker formula than, say, the Jouer powder that I love, Sunlight and Suntan, and the Charlotte Tilbury. This is like, it's just thicker, so I think it's going to take a little bit longer to go through, but I have it on today, and I really like this. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful bronzer. My Mario, I always get this mixed up with the MAC line. This is the Master Eye Prep and Set in the shade Light. I have hit pan on both of the primers here. So you can see there's a hole in both of those. And I actually have, I'll see if I can insert pictures so you guys can see a little bit better. But there is a nice divot in this powder. I really like this powder. It's kind of like my new Blanc type. I love setting right underneath my brow arch with it. And then if I'm not going to do a full-on makeup look and I want to just put bronzer on, I'll set my entire eye with it. But yeah, so we're doing pretty good there. These, all right. So I'm using more of my 260. This is the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation from Shiseido. You can see the little marks right here. So I'm down to here on this one. This one, let me see. I've been trying to keep it upright, but I think this one actually fell over. This one feels a little bit more heavy. It is the shade 220, but I'm using more of 260. I'm kind of combining them right now to get my color match, because I'm not this light, but I'm not this dark. But I love these colors because they're actually a good neutral shade. So we're doing pretty good on that. And then I cannot find my lipstick between the declutter, which you guys have not seen yet. I did a brush declutter. And then going through my entire collection, I have seemingly misplaced my lipstick. But I mean, I have an entire year to go through it, so it's okay. And then this beauty. This is the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2. Let's see if you guys can see. I have actually, like this peachy shade, there's a nice little hole in it. And again, I will insert pictures. I have on this color right here, all up against my lash line. Like, what's going on with my lashes right here? Anyway, that is what I used to add some depth to the look and just like a tiny bit on the outer corner, just because it just wasn't enough with that Tom Ford palette. And I've been using this quite a bit, just even if I'm not using only the palette to do my look, I'm using it to add in things here or there, but I've actually really been enjoying this. So I'm doing pretty good here. This is going to be the hardest thing, I think, to pan throughout the year, but we're trying. And then my Wayne Goss, this came back into stock and then went right back out so quickly. This is Coral Rose from Wayne Goss. I'm trying to get to the side. This definitely, I'm gonna hit pan on this pretty soon. I don't know if you guys can see. I'll try to insert any pictures or anything that I can as I'm talking, but the blush, I have it on right now, and then I have the highlight. I have it on my brow arch, on my inner corner, and then a little bit of it on my nose. I've been wearing this, again, more off camera because it was gone for so long and then it went out of stock. But I think I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I have an entire year to go through it, but my biggest thing is going to be the powder and that palette. I got to get through it though. I got to do it. Anywho, beauties, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my updates and how my project pan is going. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.